What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and Netmarble threw a huge curveball at all of us today. We got a sneak peek 3, and it's one of those things where I think a lot of players are going to be very conflicted about it. You know, some players are really going to be super happy about it, and some players are going to be very disappointed. I'm one of those players. I'm kind of like 50-50. I'm very excited for it because these 3 characters that you're looking at are going to be getting a little something. However, these characters doesn't look like they're going to get anything, which is a missed opportunity, in my opinion, from Netmarble. And this is where I'm a bit disappointed. You know, we just had Spider-Man. He became godly. They gave us Black Cat and Kingpin, which was pretty cool, but Black Cat didn't even get an Awakened skill or a Tier 3. Kingpin got the Tier 3, right? But they didn't do anything for, you know, Green Goblin, Lizard, Electrode. None of these characters that you're looking at, you know, Dr. Octopus, you know, all these characters in the Spider-Man movie. So I think, and especially as well as the movie has went over with the public, and it's made over $1 billion, which is insane. I'm surprised they didn't do anything for them. I'm surprised they didn't give them. Now, they still could, but it doesn't look like they will, especially after what we see in today's sneak peek. And this is sneak peek 3. And, you know, I would have preferred this actually to be a completely separate update from the Spider-Man update. I would have preferred if they would have just had Spider-Man and then with the, you know, some of the Sinister 6 characters. I think that would have been, I think they would have went over well, made more players a lot happier. And then immediately afterward, they could have done this one right here where we do the Hellfire Gala update. And speaking of Hellfire Gala update, let's watch this on YouTube. Let's check this video out. This is pretty cool, actually. I mean, this is really exciting stuff. Not bad. Nice little touch with the music. Krakoan language right there. Colossus looking pretty sick. And then you got Psylocke here as Captain Britain, looking nice. And then we have Mr. Sinister. Nice. Now, all of these looks are original looks from the comic books. In fact, all of these looks are from a run called the Hellfire Gala run. This little icon that you're seeing right here, this is the Hellfire Gala icon. This was a 12-issue run that actually started in June of last year. And each of the runs, you know, one run would be Hellions, or one book would be Hellions. Another book would be Sword. Another book would be X-Factor. Another one would be Marauders, and so on and so on. There's all kinds of X-Men characters in all of these books. So, I mean, really, potentially, we could get all kinds of uniforms, but so far it's just these 3, and they have Krakoan language in here that actually reveals a little something regarding these characters more than likely. So the first language, the first thing we have here is this here. Now, whenever you translate this to Krakoan language, it actually means enhanced. And just for those of you that don't know, this is what Krakoan language actually looks like. You can see the icon for A and B and C and D and so on and so on. You can look on the internet if you guys want to look at the actual translations for these things. But that's how I know what this actually means. And the first one starts off with enhance, which is pretty cool, right? And then after that, the next one will actually spell out awaken, right? So you got enhance, awaken, hint. And then the last one actually says transcend. I actually skipped it, but it actually says transcend, right? So it's looking like these characters are more than likely going to get transcended, which is pretty cool. Honestly, in a way, I kind of prefer transcended characters because their power levels are just godly. Because you have an awakened skill right off the get-go, in Danger Room, it makes them really great. You can alternate between those characters in World Boss Legend, like whenever I would do a run with like Moonstone and Supergiant, and just have some kind of leadership, just alternate back and forth between Supergiant and Moonstone. You can do some really cool clears from doing that, and that's kind of the benefit of having an awakened characters versus Tier 3. Now, what does it mean for these characters? Well, let's start with the negatives first. The negative is that one, Colossus here is a shifter character, but you can actually get him from Epic Quest. We jump into Epic Quest here. You can actually get him from the Epic Quest. I'm sorry, not this one. This one here. In the Stupid X-Men, I believe. Yeah, he's an ally shifter in the Stupid X-Men. And he's also available in the Dimension missions. If you take a look in the Dimension missions, you can see him in here as well. There he is right there. which is pretty cool. And you can also get him from Danger Room. Now, you know, it's a pretty difficult character to get a hold of if you don't already have him, and hard to level up, especially when it comes to uniform, because you're going to need those bios unless you spend 40 American dollars for a uniform ticket. So that's kind of a downfall for the character. And then you got Psylocke, who's a 6600 deluxe pack character. So if you don't have her, it's going to cost you 6600 crystals to get her. And then you have Mr. Sinister, who is a 100% paywall. The only way to get the character is spend $10 for a bio sub. So that's kind of the downfall for all of these characters. Now, currently right now in the game, Colossus is actually pretty amazing for PvP because of his passive. This passive is godly, unless you have certain characters on the team. And currently right now, if you have Molecule Man, who actually ignores this passive, or even if you have Spider-Man in his red uniform, actually can ignore that passive as well, which is actually pretty cool. Psylocke, you know, none of these characters have awakened skills or tier 3, so they're really, none of them are really that viable in the game. We're to a point now where we need awakened and tier 3 characters. And Psylocke, man, you know, a lot of people be praying. I honestly like this look more than the Captain Britain look, at least in my humble opinion, but still really exciting, you know. And there's a lot of people kind of hoping for a tier 3 for this character, but really Psylocke's actually pretty godly already. She's actually very strong character, especially for a tier 2 character, a non-native tier 2 character. She's actually very powerful. But I mean, they can do the same old thing like the way they do with a lot of other characters. They could give her some accumulation, which she doesn't have at all. That would be pretty godly for this character. I mean, can you imagine her with accumulation? That would be pretty damn sick. And of course, attack buffs, and do the same for all. I mean, Colossus, I'm kind of expecting him to be just a giant sport. And honestly, the fact that he's going to get an awakened skill, more than likely, it's going to make him even more viable for PvP. They might increase his passive. They might do something for, I know I'm kind of jumping around, but they might do something for his passive where this is even higher, right? Or some bullcrap where he ignores the decreased damage received from other characters. I mean, some wacky stuff. I mean, they could do all kinds of meta stuff for this character, which would be pretty wild, right? It'd make, you know, characters maybe less relevant that are relevant now, but it could be a really good thing. But they could make him super OP. And Colossus is one of those few characters right now in the game that actually has both forms of accumulation. He's got the accumulation based on how much damage you take and deal in his kit, which is nuts, right? I mean, he's got both forms of accumulation, which is wild. But because he doesn't have an awakened skill or a tier 3, he just isn't that viable in a lot of game modes. People still do use him in PvP because of his passive. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with this character. And then Mr. Sinister here, he was a complete letdown from the very beginning. You know, a paywall character that really didn't do anything for anybody. Nobody was really happy with the character at all. I mean, we all like Mr. Sinister and think he's an awesome character, but he just wasn't good. He wasn't good at all. I mean, he's got some things that are okay. I mean, he's got, you know, a nice, fairly high all defense down. But I mean, he's just, there's nothing really amazing in his kit. The increase to 70% attack is really nice on the 3rd skill, but he's just not that strong, right? He just doesn't have a tier 3. He doesn't have an awakened skill, and that's a big downfall to him. So something I want to show you guys, because there is potential for other things. So as far as the Hellions are concerned, especially when you're looking at Mr. Sinister, I want you to look at a couple of the possibilities for other uniforms that we could get. So I brought up this uniform right here, guys. You got Havoc all the way on the left, who isn't even in the game. Then you got Psylocke. We already know that Psylocke's getting the Captain Britain uniform, so we know she isn't getting that look. By the way, guys, that look is pretty damn cool. You see Mr. Sinister, that's the look we're actually getting. You got Exodus there. And then you got Mystique. So they could potentially give Mystique a uniform. This is sneak peek 3, so more than likely we'll get another sneak peek. So it is very possible that Mystique could get an awakened skill, or I'm sorry, Mystique could get a uniform, right? I mean, she's already awakened, so she could get a uniform, which should be pretty godly for her, because right now she's fallen off big time. All she's relegated to anymore is just a support for the most part. So the possibilities are really endless, in all honesty. There's way more uniforms. I mean, Jean Grey could get a uniform. A lot of the X-Men could get a uniform. I mean, who knows who could actually get something. But I wanted to show you guys this because Mystique's actually, you know, a pretty strong character. But since meta changes have been happening, she's kind of fallen down a little bit. And again, she's just relegated to support. So she could get this skin or this uniform, which looks pretty cool. I mean, I like it a lot. I think it looks pretty cool. So, I mean, this is going to be one of them updates where people are going to be torn, I think, you know, and I do think that is kind of a shame because if Netmarble would have just brought in the Sinister Six, not to put a sour taste on the X-Men, I'm actually very excited for them. But if they would have just done the Sinister Six first, right, or not even first, if they just would have done something for them, and they might still do that. I don't know if they will or not. But as of right now, I don't think they will. And again, I just think it's a huge missed opportunity. And this update for the X-Men would actually have been a lot better if we wouldn't have in the back of our minds that we just had Spider-Man and we were really hoping for some of the Sinister Six to get buffed up. But for a lot of players, they're going to look at this and they're going to think this is extremely expensive, which I can't blame them. I mean, you got a shifter character right there. I mean, you can get him from the Danger Room, you can get him from Dimension Missions, but it's all RNG as far as getting him. And then the Ally Shifter takes a long time, especially when you're trying to level up a uniform. I mean, Psylocke, I mean, she costs the crystals, and since she never had a Tier 3 and Awakened skill, I mean, I imagine a lot of players haven't really tried to get her because she wasn't really that useful because she didn't have those things available to her. So they're going to have to fork out 6,600 crystals, and then they're going to have to fork out for the Captain Britain uniform. I mean, that's pretty expensive. Now, for those of us that already have her, it's not going to be as much of a big deal. And then Mr. Sinister, you know, being a paywall, I mean, people are going to have to go out and buy him, and then leveling up his uniform can also be very expensive. So it's a pretty pricey looking update, but I'm still very, very excited for these guys. So let me know how y'all feeling about this update. Are you excited for these three characters getting buffs, or would you have liked to seen some of the Sinister Six get buffed up first, and then maybe we could have seen the X-Men get buffed up afterwards? And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GMT+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See ya.